Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 2 of this project. Well, in this topic, we're going to get into the little depths and details of what we can do to create a better look for this room. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the Vray BRDF over here. And I'm actually going to go into certain spaces like, let's say, this diffuse area over here, which is the wall. And over here, you can actually see we have the roughness. So I'm going to increase that because we'll get a more rough look to our whole thing. Then we have got a couple of reflection setups, but again, reflection is not going to affect that much, neither is refraction. You just want to select the things which would affect that much. So we can see the diffuse over here could affect. So I can actually increase that. We can increase the roughness a little bit. You can actually see the roughness is getting a little bit more dull tinge over here because it's going to be a rough wall. That's what it has to look like. So we'll always increase the roughness over here. So I think that's good enough. We don't need more than that over here. Let's get into this one. Now we can use a couple of bump maps and things like that, but as I told you guys, I want to get into the crafts of it. I actually want to use make this into a group. So right click and make it into a group, and then I want to add the fur on top of this, and I don't want to add the fur on the seat. I only want to add the fur over here. Now once I've added the fur, we can definitely go and add multiple changes to it. Well guys, then the next thing over here is going to be the ground, which is the basic flooring over here. And if you guys want to edit that out a little bit, y'all can. Well, I told you, you can increase the max depth to get a better reflection setup over here. Definitely refraction is not something that we want. We can definitely increase the roughness of the color brown. I think reflection could increase slightly so that it's a little bit more reflective, so that when light comes, it actually reflects it well. So I think a couple of settings can be done, but regardless of that, I'm quite happy with even the quick settings for this particular project, since they're very small and very little less things that we don't really need to focus on a lot. Next, I'm going to actually add a spot, and remember, before you even click the spot, make sure you're holding shift and then give a click. So what happens is you can actually set in real time how the whole light should look like. You guys can see how I'm setting this light. Now the minute I set the light here, I can actually give a click and I can set the cone size, and then I can set the penumbra angle. So remember, holding shift is very good because you actually have a very good setup of the whole thing. And then once you're happy with that, you can actually come here. And I told you guys we'll need to do some kind of a render without the materials also. So I'm going to override the materials here, and I'm going to simply go ahead and do an interactive render. And when the interactive render starts, you can actually see how quickly the whole thing is coming up very fast. And you can see that the lighting looks actually quite good over here. And we also have this entire setup done. So you can, let's just change a little bit of the geometry. So remember, go into geometry, and we can increase that or decrease that. So I'll just give that a little less, not too much. And I'd like to, increase the bend of it. And we can increase the thickness of it. And let's give it some curls. Let's make it a very cushiony kind of a thing, cushiony as in with a lot of, very like nice feels when you sit on it. But it can't be too much then, so we can actually leave it something like this. Let's switch off the material override and actually see how this entire render setup looks like. Wow, this looks actually quite good. I think the lighting is falling extremely well. We're getting a really good look. You can actually see the roughness has brought in a very good look to this as well. Yeah, this looks really neat. You can see that even the specs are looking perfect. And I think we really have got something really great over here. Now remember, we aren't done with any of these things towards the end. I think we can make a couple of changes in this. Just reduce the curl radius as well as the number of curls, and just the length we can reduce it slightly so it's there, it's not overwhelming too much. I think that would be better. Yeah, this is quite perfect. And we can go into the light. So the spotlight is there over here. I don't really think I want to do any changes to that, but if I have to, I will only do it to the color. I think yellow would be needing over there a little bit, but not this. A little very light, just very light yellow, because we need that kind of a look. Can reduce that intensity, or would you like it to be increased a little bit more? Completely on you guys, but I think this looks really neat. I really like how it's looking. we can actually go into the render, into the camera settings, and I can add a depth of field to this as well. So here what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to focus out the chair over here. So the chair has to be the major thing in focus, and we can actually set the defocus a little high so that let it get a little out of focus. And then we've got the focus distance. I think this looks neat. We want a little bit more focused range over here, but we want that little off focus thing also, because it's actually the off focus really looks good. So don't do too much. Again, see here we don't need to, because there's nothing very close to us. They're all on almost the same level. Things which are closer need to have more focused on. Alright, but I think this is nice, and we can maybe just set the exposure value a little bit. Keep it around 14.88, not 14.24. So it's a little dull. You guys can check 14 out as well. I think 14 is nice. So it's a little dull yet bright. It's not too much of a lot of those things. You've got white balance here. Maybe you want to just select a slight yellowish tinge to it, so you can actually see how the green and the RGB basically plays out over here. But I really think by just shifting this a little off-white, we got a really nice balance to the whole thing. So I'm pretty happy with this, and I don't think I need to change anything else over here. But definitely I'm going to go into scene 1, which gives me a complete look of the whole thing altogether. And I'm really glad that we are able to come up with such a good scene very quickly. And I want you guys to kind of get something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set this on a render of high quality, and I'm going to show you guys the final output. So I hope you guys enjoyed rendering this particular project. It was quite simple, but the simpler it is, the more easier it is to understand. But you can see this geometry. I think we can, reduce this a little bit. It's actually very thick. I think maybe if we reduce that, it would look a little bit more neater or more nicer. I think that's really kind of the thing which we're looking for. It should not be too thick also, just very thin, but it's got its curls, it's got everything in it, so it looks really neat. So I think once you have found that, then you can actually go ahead and step back and go into the settings, into the renderer, switch off the interactive, increase the high, stop all of these, and let's get down to one final render. So as you guys can see, we have completed this render. Now you can see the clarity of the render is a little low. Well, that's because the resolution is actually low. Also, you guys will notice that a lot of things have become quite good over here. The way the lampshade is looking, the way the chair is looking. Definitely we can reduce the background in it, which is the concrete wall. We can reduce the noise a little bit and maybe make it a little bit more white so that it stands out in the whole thing. So let's just quickly do that and actually put it on a high quality render so you guys see how really high quality renders look like. Definitely will take more time. This render on an average takes around 5 to 8 minutes, what I just did right now. High quality renders actually take a little bit more time. So what we're going to do is we're going to definitely take out one of that as well. It might take around 40-45 minutes, but it will definitely look really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all go up to this material over here, and I'm just going to switch that light off and actually increase the diffuse color so that we get a really nice light look over here. I'm actually going to reduce the roughness. I think the roughness increased. We'll go quickly to the quick settings, and over here I can actually, in the bump, we can reduce the bump slightly as well, so the texture kind of smoothens out, and I think that will really look much better. Now once we're done with that, guys, let's simply go back into the settings tab, and over here we will keep this at high or very high depending on how the quality you want. But you can see the render output over here is what's going to matter. You can see the image width and the image height have shown up over here to be 738 by 451, and as I explained to you guys during the render settings, what we can do is we can easily keep this at, let's say, 1920 by 1080. That's actually very high quality and almost double than what we already have. Definitely it will take a little bit more time to render, but we'll really get a really good quality. So I'm actually going to keep this on high, not even the most highest quality, so you guys still see the kind of difference that we can have compared to the last render. So let me just go ahead and hit this for render. I'll catch you guys once the render is done. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back after you guys just saw the entire render. Now you guys will actually see how better this render looks. So clear it is, and you guys can actually see everything. You can actually see the texture on this wall really looks like what we were trying to go for, with the nice white background. You can see how the depth is coming out in the flooring, especially with, you can see the metallic look on the lamp. Really, I think this view has really come out really good. Definitely we can have a lot of more changes to it. The light is right now whitish. We can have it maybe a little yellowish, or we can even change the atmosphere a little bit with that. But I think the clarity on a whole is looking really good. So that's basically what I want you guys to be able to achieve, at least in the first project, which has only one scene. In the second and third project, we're actually going to get into a couple of more scenes, and we're going to get out many different types of renders. But in total, I think this has come out really well. So anyway guys, I'll see you in the next project. Till then, please finish this one off, and if you have any other doubts, please don't forget to use the comment section below as well. Take care.